Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from a sort of interestinglife.com. You're not quite joining me on board good old narrowboat Tilly at the moment. In fact, you're joining me just up a few fields away. I've just been up into St Martin's, not far from the canal, to get a few supplies, and I've thought, you know what, let's push back all the videos that I've got done, and the Narrowboat Diaries episode 2 will now go online next week, and I just really want to get back on board and just talk about boat stuff and life and YouTube and things with you, and really give this video a bit more focus than just the Dan Brown monologues video. And don't worry, there's going to be plenty of scenery coming up too. Right, let's get back because it's a little bit chilly out here. Before we go any further in this video, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge how unbelievably old I looked in that video clip then to start with. I cannot believe, that must be 20 years that put on me wearing that scarf thing up around my face. Anyway, we'll move on from that depressing fact. And as I say, I just want to talk more generally in this video about boat life and why I enjoy it so much, and the way that YouTube and all this crazy stuff on the internet plays into it, and just really, just talk and just, as I say a few things that I actually want you to hear, really, rather than things that are about stuff and about boat life and what have you. So let's dive straight in with some beautiful panoramas of just the canal yesterday on a beautiful sunny day, as it's been so rare to get this great sunshine recently that we better enjoy it while we've got it. So let's go. So this winter has proven to be a pretty difficult one just due to the extreme amount of rain. But my goodness me, I can't tell you how much that's made me appreciate just how good boat life is when it's good. And just taking a day like this, I had a little boat trip of half an hour to get to this point so I could get a few supplies from over the fields up at St Martin's, and just being able to enjoy this and be out wandering through the fields. I can't explain to you how much I enjoy it. And then obviously being able to point the camera around and share it with all these people who are now following me on YouTube and all this crazy stuff. And that's something that I really want to take a moment to mark and talk about when we go back to me on board, as all of this YouTube stuff is just absolutely ridiculous at this point, I think, really. Don't ask me as well what on earth that boat's moored up on that other side of the canal for, as when I looked out earlier on in the day, they were moored up ahead of Tilly on the normal 48-hour mooring parts, but goodness knows, it's all fun and games though, and it's no problem. It's just interesting to see sometimes where these holiday boats choose to moor. And again, just look at this, perfect stuff. I hope that clips like that help to illustrate why boat life has such an appeal to me, and it's obviously not always these beautiful days, and as I say, this winter's been absolutely horrendous in terms of not being able to get out and do anything without getting as muddy and as wet as I've ever been in my life from natural cycling and walking causes. And I think that there's some people who will look at these clips and look at these moments when I talk about how isolated I might be, and how Tilly over the winter is sometimes literally the only boat within miles of canal, and that's literally not an exaggeration, and sometimes you don't see boats go past. The last winter when Chirk Tunnel was closed for about 6 weeks, I think I saw one boat actually moving anywhere near Tilly during that period, and the main actual vessel moving was me in the kayak by many times, and that's crazy to think. And I can certainly see how there's people who would find boat life extremely lonely, and there's certainly times where I think, flipping heck, I wish that there's somebody here to see this with me, and just to be here to experience this right now. And it's what when I show you all these clips and take these random videos of random moments to use if I ever find a use for those clips, that's the sort of thing that I think, I suppose, more than the companionship element of it, it's I just want people to see and be like, I'm like, look at this, look at what's going on here, look where we are now. But instead I'm there on my own going, right, hello YouTube, have a look at this is ridiculous, what's going on, how can this be just normal life? And it's like I say, I mean, yesterday when we actually had a beautiful sunny day, and in typical fashion, we've had the best stretch for literally probably 5, 6, maybe 7 months of really sunny, dry weather, and I managed to work 3 days out of the 4 of those. And of course today it's been straight back to wind, rain, and really unpleasant for a lot of today, to be honest. But to be honest, that equally, instead of me just being sat on board getting bored and thinking, oh flipping heck, this is terrible, oh, and that, because I do so much of this YouTube stuff and writing and that now, it's like I've just sat down with one of my notebooks and gone through a load of video ideas and gone through a load of like different chapters that I might add or remove from the book that I'm currently working on, and just really sat at that desk for goodness knows how many hours and rattled out a few thousand words that I wanted to redo. And there's so many things that take up so much of my time that isn't part of most normal people's life, to be honest. And it's like I say, I mean, to basically put things in context, I suppose let's stop looking at my face and get back to some scenery. We're going to walk over the fields now and up towards St Martin's, so let's go for a walk and carry on this chat. So as we leave the canal to cut across the farmland up to St Martin's, I suppose really that this again illustrates what I love about all this wandering around, and this beautiful little walk we're about to have is an actual useful trip to the shops to get stuff. This isn't just a walk for walking's sake, but it just happens to be this perfect scenic little trip, very muddy as you're about to see. And ultimately, this is the sort of thing that I can't explain how grateful I am to have this as a normal part of my life. And as I say, moving around to different stretches of the canal and having different walks like this to go to the shops. And I think that something that again puts things into perspective is the fact that there's been times where my friends come down to the canal and slept on board Tilly from up at St Martin's, and then in the morning we've woken up, moved the boat and stuff, and then literally cut back over these fields up to his house, got in his car and then gone to work in the morning. And that's literally how much this sort of stuff is sometimes inbuilt into the most mundane daily things of life, like commuting to actually go to work, and you get to do stuff like that. Again, it's just beyond comprehension that if you'd have said to me, goodness knows how many years ago, oh yeah, Dan, this is what your life might be like one day, then again, I could have never contemplated that this would have been it. And I suppose if we cut back to me, I'll do some serious talk about YouTube to the camera now. So we just need to take a moment or two now to talk sensibly about all this YouTube stuff and my writing and things like that, as it's all grown to such a level, well, the YouTube stuff at least has grown to such a level that it's beyond anything that I could have ever expected. Now, there's two basic milestones that we're coming up to in the next month or two, and that is that this YouTube channel's going to pass 4 million total video views and 13,000 subscribers. I literally can't even make a sentence, that's so ridiculous. So if you consider those two things now, that's 13,000 people at the same time subscribed to a channel that is me talking about random stuff and showing you goodness knows what nonsense or rubbish, where 13,000 people have gone, you know what, I want to see more of this, and click subscribe, yet alone the 4 million views overall and the millions upon millions of minutes watched of this YouTube channel, which literally equates to years and years and years worth of consecutive viewing. And the crazy things as well, like at any given moment there's over 10 people watching one of two of these videos. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So again, I can't thank you enough for all of that and the knock-on effect that this has all had on my life, that I now have, I'd say, over the last 2 years, the majority of people that I've met and I would consider my friends in real life are people who have tuned into these YouTube videos and then met me on the canal over summer holidays or just up here walking on the canal in general. And because I'm so awkward and shy in real life, I mean, I'm painfully, it's to a problem that affects my life basically, that I am so shy and awkward. But because, as I've said in the past, there's people coming up to me who already know so much about me and have stuff they want to talk about, it's like the ice is already broken and there's loads to talk about. And so instead of trying to have that awkward sort of, as I come off, I think in real life, quite sort of cold sometimes, because it's just that shy awkwardness. It's not me being rude or anything deliberately. It's just like, I don't know what to say. My shoulders are going to be bunched up and I'm going to look as uncomfortable talking to you as possible. Whereas, like I say, there's no need to make that small talk because people are literally coming up to me and shaking me hand as, oh, I've seen your videos and got questions they want to ask and want photos taken, and it's stuff like that, like ridiculous. Treating me as if I've ever done anything good in my life or useful or that's worthy of respect, which talking at a camera and posting these videos isn't. As I say, been on YouTube since it started practically, and I never ever want fame. I don't want to be famous. That's something that I've got to say and make absolutely abundantly clear at this point. There's so many opportunities that I've given up, like being on the radio, a surprising amount of requests to go on different radio things and talk about boats and that sort of stuff, and there's been a few things on the telly that I could have been on that people will absolutely just shake me if they knew the stuff that I've not decided to do, and especially in the early days where I was still too shy and didn't really want to be on stuff like that anyway, before it came like a conscious decision where I'm actually like, well, I could do this, but I've decided not to. So again, we won't go into that. That's another thing for another time. But there's the stuff that people would absolutely give me a good slapping for not taking these opportunities. And part of it is that I don't want that extra exposure. It's like, I love how things are at the moment, where it's like over the summer months there'll be multiple people a day, day after day after day, who come past and know who I am and stop for a chat, and literally stop and we'll sit down and have something to eat at the side of the canal, or I'll hop on a boat and do a bit of boating with them. Just stuff like that. Great stuff. And like I say, where the majority of my friends have come from over these last few years, YouTube, and people who know me from YouTube. So it's had this great effect, but I don't want to be famous. I never started YouTube to get millions of views, because it was an impossible thought when I first started YouTube, and it just wasn't a thing. And now you have people who deliberately start YouTube channels to try and become famous and make a load of money and that sort of stuff, which don't go into YouTube to make money, because unless you get a lot of views, and I'm talking a lot more than 4 million views, you're never going to be thinking of retiring on that money. The same with Kindle books, unfortunately. There's no way I'm ever going to be retiring down to my desert island in the sun off YouTube and Kindle money. And hell, I'm not even going to be retiring down off on a rainy canal on YouTube and Kindle money, but it's stuff that I absolutely adore and love doing, so I'm happy to do it. It's never going to be about the money, unless something ridiculous happened and I woke up and there's 1 billion views on this channel all of a sudden. You're not going to see me making any massive budget stuff. And equally, I don't really want 1 billion views on this channel, because then my whole life is completely blown up and in the air, where I haven't got that privacy at all anymore. Like, I haven't got that simple, obscure life, which already I've given up to such an extent that I didn't realise I was giving up as I was doing these videos, before obviously they started to get thousands and thousands of views and stuff. So again, take me back in time, tell me what's going to happen and there's going to be millions of views. Would I have actually done any of these videos, or would I now just be living out on Narrowboat Tilly in the same exact spot, and people going past the boats going, oh look, that's a random little boat, I haven't seen a boat with a square back end like that before, rather than going past and going, oh flipping heck, there's that Dan's boat, can't believe we've actually found it, oh, I bet he's on there filming and shouting at the camera like he normally does, waving his arms around everywhere. And again, there's like people literally quote catchphrases that I didn't realise I was creating about different things I say and the way I say words and stuff. It's, again, just ridiculous. So thank you so much for everything. And as I say, ultimately, it may surprise people that I would rather be known for my writing rather than my videos. But that's not to say I'm not extremely happy with doing these videos. It's just that writing is something that, going back to even my early teen years, and as I've said before, there's literally school books where I've got short stories I was writing that were totally unrelated to anything to do with school. I was just writing for fun. So that can really, I suppose, highlight how I've always been a bit weird and trying to be off in my own world like the whole boat idea was meant to be. But yeah, this has really turned into a very big monologue, which I was hoping to avoid in this video, but oh well, we're here now. So just to wrap things up, I suppose, hopefully I've had some sense, and in the editing process put in a load of just nice scenery and footage of the walk up to St Martin's over this talking, rather than just made you look at my face for 7 or 8 minutes. But really, I just wanted to take a moment to say that I absolutely love doing all this YouTube and book writing and stuff. And please do check out my books if you would like, because I would love people to know and think about my writing and see like my sort of more personal thoughts and feelings that are awkward to share out loud in actual video form, rather than write about stuff and that. But again, if you do want to check out the Kindle books, that's great. If not, then no hard feelings, and I hope you enjoy the videos, and just thanks for tuning in at all. It's all stuff that's helped to make my boat life something that is way beyond anything I ever expected. So thank you from the absolute bottom of my heart, because it just means so much to me that anybody cares at all. And certainly coming from such a ridiculous, shy and awkward person as I am, that has struggled all my life to really fit in and make any friends. So I can't explain to you what it's meant, and I just really want to make sure that you know that, and you know how much it means to me. That there's literally, like I say, thousands of messages and comments every year coming in that I can't possibly respond to. Please don't get angry and start giving me hatred if I don't respond to your comments, though. That's also something that I would like to just say and throw out there. But ultimately, I suppose this video's gone way too long, way over what I wanted it to be. So I'll just say thank you so much for watching, as always. Please do check out my books. Please do check out my other videos if this is the first that you've seen. I do documentaries and short films and stuff like that. If you head over to the channel page, you'll find all of those. And as always, feel free, if you want to see boaty pictures and updates from Life Afloat, check out my Facebook page and my Facebook profile and that sort of stuff. Feel free to add me or just follow me on Facebook and Twitter. But really, as my voice is going and it's getting late, I just want to say an absolutely massive thank you for everything, whether it's just tuning into these videos every now and then, or reading my books and reading the books as soon as they're out and then telling me I need to get working on the next one and stuff, which is, again, crazy. Just thank you so much from the absolute bottom of my heart. Until the next time, keep it boat worthy, keep it throat worthy, and of course, farewell.